have opened up my drawing the very same way that I did the last one, that I opened a brand new Illustrator file and placed it. Otherwise, it's not going to allow you to work easily on that. And I wanted to show you some different tools and how to come in and color something if you so decide to color. So far all we have used is the paintbrush tool, but there are some nice tools underneath your rectangle tool. So if you want to draw, say, a circle for an eyeball or one of these tools, it's under the rectangle tool. So if you come in and decide you want to draw a circle rather than trace something, if you want something really even, that's possible. And as you see, when I drew my circle, it's black. That's because this square here is black. And that's your fill color swatch. That if you want it to be an outline, then you use the picture frame outline. And if you can see up here, then now let me turn off the outline that I just drew so you can see it. That I'm gonna lock it. Usually if I'm having trouble controlling something and making it turn off and on, I will lock it and unlock it. And so now you can see I have an outline of the circle. If I decide I want that to be a color, then I click here where the swatch is, and I can come up here and choose any fill color that I want it to be. And right now it's green, but it's still white inside. If I want that to change, then I click on this little circle which will select it, and then I can click on the green and fill it with green. So that will work really easily with that tool. If you want to do the same thing with the pen tool, and oftentimes if you're having trouble following a line with your paintbrush tool, the pen tool is a really good tool to do that with. That this is the pen tool right here. And I'm going to turn off this green because it's really hard to draw something with the pen tool or the brush tool and have that fill color there. It's easier to change it when you're already have it drawn. So, and then I'm going to zoom in to actual size and see how close that is. And now if I was going to use the pen tool, then you actually don't draw a line, you draw a series of dots. So everywhere I put a dot then becomes a line. And some of you might find that the paintbrush tool works better or the pen tool works better. That is just up to you. You know, you'll have to try them both. But you see I don't have to put them really, really close together. This would work the best if I've got quite a lot of series of very straight lines, because the pen tool draws a straight line fairly well. And then I can just follow along my object and add dots anywhere I want to add a dot. That I'm not dragging, I'm just clicking.
I like that tool.
Yes, and a lot of people with Illustrator, I like the brush tool that we used first because it's very much like calligraphy, that it'll clean up, it'll go in, but the pen tool might be your favorite of getting in there and making it really accurate. Now when it's closed and there's no longer a hole and the whole thing is selected, that's ideal. Then you can choose whatever color of background you want it to be. That a green giraffe probably wouldn't be my choice. So I can double click here and come in here. I only have web colors on, and if you click that off, you have a greater leeway of choosing a color that you might be happier with. Now, if you want no outline at all around the outside so that it's just a colored shape, you can come over here and switch that to off, where it's got the line through it. It's like a null sign on a 0. So I had a null sign on the background. Now I have a null sign on the outline. Or if you want it to be more of an Illustrator-like feel to it, then you can come in and outline it with any color that you want, again, by double-clicking. So I can make it black. I can make it kind of a dark brown. I can do that as well. And then up here under, I'm selecting it all again so I can look at it. Once you've got all the red dots on, you can see how big that outline is going to be, and that's called a stroke. And so right now I have it at 1 point. I can make it really small. I can make it great big. It is your choice on how you want the drawing to look. So whatever you've got selected will go to the outline. And that's usually why when I do everything, I put them on different layers, because the easy way to select them is just by clicking that button. And unless you want everything to do exactly the same thing, then it is probably good for you not to have it on the same layer.
Can you make
So,
the dots go away, or they just stay there with that?
I just lock it and it's now just selected.
Oh.
Those are selection dots. So the dots show up when they're selected.
Oh.
And you can click somewhere, but to me, this is surefire because I know that goes away. Now, if I had continued with the giraffe like that, I can't see what's behind it, and I can't see the dots to put on top of it. So you just turn your eyeball off. You know it's there. You've already drawn the background to it. And then you make yourself a new working layer, because it won't let you draw, because I locked it so that it wouldn't. My eyebrow, I can turn it back off and on anytime that I want. And then I could, just work with my pen tool or my brush tool on any one of these dots and do the same thing. But I'm going to turn that off because it gets in my way. And then I can just outline the spots on my giraffe. Now I have this really funky wide brush now, which I probably wouldn't use, and it's green right now. Would be a perfect time to change that to a different stroke size. So I probably only, if I was going to outline it, only have it be a 1 point, and then choose some kind of nice color that goes with my giraffe for the fill. And then I can turn them back on and see how that looks, and then I'll turn them back off and on as I go through the drawing. So that way then you can make it more of a, and this is called vector drawing that you're doing here, a nice vector object. And this is just the basic 3 things that I'm having you do here. That as you feel like you want to try some of these other things, you definitely can. But here are all the shape tools. Here are your brush tools. And then here's your fill and outline tools. So see what you can do with your scan. And if you get lost, you can holler and I'll come by. And remember, you're going to do a new document. You're going to place it. You're going to put it in place and lock it down. And then work 1 layer at a time. And then it's the same as Photoshop, that if you hate what you did, you can throw it in the trash as long as it's not locked. That layer can go away and you can start again. So, and I'm back to my beginning and I can start working on my giraffe.